has rubbished China's latest claims showing Arunachal Pradesh and the Aksai Chin region in Ladakh as part of its own territory in a new map. India's Foreign Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has said these are absurd claims. The new so-called standard maps released by China today show Indian territories as theirs. Jaishankar said it was an old habit of China to put out maps claiming territories that don't belong to them, and added that the Modi government is very serious about this issue. The foreign minister said, and I quote, "China has put out maps with territories not theirs. Old habit. Putting out maps with parts in India doesn't change anything. Our government is very clear about territory. Making absurd claims does not make other people's territories yours." And it's not just India that China is provoking. The latest map follows Beijing announcing in April that it would standardize the names of 11 places in Arunachal Pradesh, including a town close to capital Itanagar. This was the third such list renaming places in Arunachal, and was seen by observers as a response to India holding events in the lead up to the G20 summit in the state, which Beijing had opposed. Now, Chinese President Xi Jinping is expected to attend the September 9th and 10th summit in New Delhi. India has repeatedly told China that Arunachal Pradesh was, is and will always remain an integral and inalienable part of India. As we said, India is not the only country being provoked. The map also incorporates China's claims over the estranged island of Taiwan and the 9-dash line claiming a large part of the South China Sea. China claims Taiwan as part of its mainland, and its integration with the mainland is part of a vowed objective of Chinese President Xi Jinping. All right, let's go back to Shri on this. Shri, of course, Dr. Jaishankar is right that these are old habits. Of course, this is not the first time that China has provoked us in this manner. However, what should we make of the timing? Just a few days ago, the Prime Minister of India rubbed shoulders with the Chinese President at the BRICS summit. And this also comes more significantly on the eve of the G20 summit that New Delhi is holding next week, and in all likelihood the Chinese President is going to be here. So really, what does one make of the timing of this provocation?
Right. I'll come to the timing, Neha, but first, I think this is a silly map and it deserves the kind of response, the silly response which, our foreign minister he's literally laughed it off, saying that, oh, these are, old habits of China, we don't take them seriously. I think that's the appropriate response to a silly map from China. Because just because, you put some countries or some parts of a country on your map, it doesn't suddenly belong to you. Now, obviously, you mentioned the timing is surprising, but I don't think there's any great thought which has gone into China's part on the timing of this, because this is something their official, ministries they routinely do. So, but yes, the fact that we just wrapped up a BRICS meeting in Johannesburg and now we are headed into a G20 in Delhi in the first week of September, and where not just Xi Jinping, but even US President Joe Biden is going to be there. So, so on that note, let me, briefly explain how China actually fights its territorial disputes, Neha. Now, there are cases where China has actually solved its territorial disputes. For example, with the USSR, it's given away more than 30,000 square feet of land to Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan in the mid-90s. So when it suits China, it is willing to settle these disputes. So as far as India's Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh fight is concerned, I think China will want to keep them simmering as some sort of a festering wound without really pushing them. We might have a Galwan kind of an incident, one-off, but I think China is by and large happy to keep it like on the boil without really pushing it beyond a point. But Taiwan is a very different issue for China, because China sees that Taiwan is an integral part of the country. Now, that was something which from the time of, when People's Republic of China was created and the Republic of China, which is Taiwan, was created, China has maintained, Mao Zedong maintained, Deng Xiaoping maintained, and now Xi Jinping is maintaining that. So Taiwan is something which I believe China will really fight for, and it's not going to give it up so easily. So that, to my mind, is the bigger battle, not so much our issue with Arunachal Pradesh or Aksai Chin, Neha, because those are, festering kind of, wounds where there was no clear demarcation of territory on either side. So these are all open-ended kind of fights that we can keep squabbling about. But the other issue is, as China's own economy slows down, as people come into suffering, greater suffering, joblessness, poverty levels go up, will China then use its saber rattling to distract the people of China from the core issue of economy? So that could be another issue we need to keep in mind, Neha, as we go into maybe a tougher phase for the Chinese economy.
Well, tyrants are known to use all sorts of distractions to sort of keep their domestic audience busy. But clearly, if this is really a country that has no interest in restoring normalcy along the line of actual control, and as you say, wants to keep the wounds festering, then really how do you trust a neighbor like that? How do you really sit down and talk to China across the table in the hope that these issues are actually going to be resolved? But on that note, Shri, thank you so much for your perspective. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you, Neha. Pleasure to be on the show.